Welcome to the Reseller Niche Podcast, a show for e-commerce buyers and sellers where we investigate unique items being bought and sold and show you how research equals knowledge equals profit.
Welcome back. So today we're going to be discussing the clothing haul and my numbers from the Bay Area, like we discussed probably about 3 weeks ago. And also I'm going to go over some listing strategies, how I plan out my day, or at least how I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks, and we can discuss that. So first of all, my listing strategy for this haul specifically. I have broken it up because I think it was 700 to 800 pieces. So I'm not going to do that strictly all at one time. What I'm doing is, because I have a lot of inventory, I guess this is procrastinations, what happens when you procrastinate. So I've got all this clothing inventory plus what I had before. So I've only listed about 20% of the haul so far, which is all clothing, or 99% clothing. And I'm, like I said, I'm not doing only that, so I've kind of staggered it. What I'm trying to do is stagger by category, because a lot of the stuff I list isn't clothing. It's board games, toys, electronics, other stuff. So what I've done is I've broken down my listing into tubs for clothing, about 15 to 20 items per tub, generally pieces of shirts. And what I'll do is I'll list a tub every day, and I'll do that 3 times a week, or 3 to 4 times a week. On the other days, and I'll alternate. The other day I'll list something else. So it'll be toys, action figures, electronics, anything that is not from that clothing haul. So that's kind of how I've spaced it out. I don't know if that's correct or not. As always, I'm always thinking about, how am I going to trip that algorithm? Cassini, if I'm actually doing that or not, I'm not sure. You guys can let me know. But I've seen some results, but here's the thing. I'm thinking the best thing to do is just list items that are obviously in demand and quick sellers. And I think that's what trips the algorithm best of all, rather than just, trying to figure out what it is. It's fast sellers, but let's be honest, that's what it is. So for example, I'm going to sidetrack here a little bit. I'm looking at the front page of eBay, and they tell you exactly what they want you to list. It's got 3 or 4 categories in this banner here. It talks about what Magic the Gathering cards, toys, plushes, Apple iPhones, and there's a giant banner for Milwaukee power tools. So me listing items that sell, and I'm going to go into what's actually been selling from this haul. I think it's more based on what is in demand and what sells fast. So anyways, that's how I've been listing and this specific haul. And what I've been doing is I only list 5 days a week in general for anything, including Amazon, including local sales, Mercari, Etsy, any of that. Poshmark even though I don't do that much. So 1 to 2 days a week. Out of that, I'll usually include my Amazon listings. So Amazon listings are kind of different though, in the sense that I usually only have multiples of the same item. And a lot of times I'm not even creating a listing or listing it. I'm just adding quantity to a listing I already have, up there. So usually those go faster. It's more just shifting around larger quantities of items. So it's 4 to 5 days a week of listing total. And in that 4 to 5 days, 1 to 2 days is Amazon, and usually, 5 days of eBay. And then what I'll do also on top of that is I'll try and break down the weekends, and I'll have listings available. And what I'll do is I'll save stuff in drafts. So I'll list a bunch of stuff, and I usually have stuff in drafts that I'll save 20, 30 items. And the reason I keep them there is because I know there's going to be at least 1 to 2 days where I'm not going to be able to get to a computer we're going to be doing something with a family or something. So what I'll do is I'll have them ready to go, and then first thing in the morning, I'll just submit. And so I don't go 48 hours without a listing. That's kind of the goal. So anyways, so here's my eBay strategy, kind of broken down a little bit more than that. I try and break it down into 10 to say 15 items a day if possible. This is for eBay specifically. The reason for the range, the reason I say 10 to 15 is because if I said 10, if I write down 10, I'll do 10, I'll stop. I don't know why, that's just me. So if I write 10 to 15, I generally do 15 or more. I don't know why that is. That's maybe just playing head games with myself. Doesn't make sense, I know, but that's just kind of how it is. And proof of that, in the last couple of weeks, I've done over 100 items a day. So, usually if you list 15 items a day times 5, that's 75 items. So I've been doing around or a little bit under 100 items for the last couple of weeks, just based on setting a goal at 10 to 15. Now, I don't know if that works for you. Maybe people have to be more specific. You don't have to play silly games with yourself like I do, but that's kind of how I do it. And also, going back to why I leave things in drafts, I don't like to go over 48 hours without a listing. I don't know if that's a rule or if that's something I just heard somewhere. I try and keep it consistent in the sense that there's always, at least every 2 days, something's going up that's new, if possible. Even if I don't have new inventory or new whatever, I'll put up some of those drafts on the weekends or holidays, 3-day weekends especially. I'll have like 40 or 50 drafts ready to go a few days in advance. So that's my listing goal, 10 to 15 items a day listed. And I have a picture goal as well. It's not really a set number. I'll have tubs that I set out, like those tubs I talked about with the haul. Generally, each tub for clothing has 20 to 30 items in there. And then I'll try and get through 1 or 2 tubs if possible. I also do a lot of non-clothing picture taking, obviously, and it can be action figures, so you can fit like hundreds in a tub. So my goal is to at least get double what I would list. So if I'm going to list 10 to 15, I want to picture 30 items, 40, 50 items. I want to picture way more than I'm ever going to list. I don't think I've ever listed 60, 70 items, but I've taken pictures of 60 or 70 items. So it kind of like, if I'm ahead, you don't know what's going to happen the next day. So you can always, you always have something to work on, worst case scenario. So for what I do with toys, a lot of times I don't have 30 of the same toy or game or action figure or whatever it is. So I'll do it by genre. For example, if I'm doing G.I. Joe and I only have like 5 of them, I'll do that, and then I'll grab another box that maybe has 30 Star Wars figures in it, or 10 puzzles in it, and I'll just do as many as I can by genre, and I try not to break that up if possible. Sometimes there's thousands of items and little toys, that obviously I'm gonna have to break up, but I'll break that up by tub, and I'll see G.I. Joe box 1, G.I. Joe box 2, and I'll break it up. So that way, if I picture in genre, I can list in genre. It's just faster to picture, faster to list, faster mentally, so I'm not switching back and forth. The templates that I have that I work with are similar, and the listings will be similar. And maybe that's just the way my brain works, but like if I can just do things grouped up like that, it's just faster for me. And I'm sure you've heard other people say that. So generally, I'll do all of my picture taking for tomorrow's listings. So if that's 30, 50, 100 pictures, then I'll have the next day I'll have 2 to 3 days worth of pictures, even though I'm not going to do 2 to 3 days worth of listings. But that's kind of the goal. So if also second goal is to get everything done within 3 hours. Generally, I'd say 9 a.m. to 12. That's kind of something that fits within the kids' e-schooling time. 12 o'clock-ish, a little bit after they get out for lunch. And they're in there for longer than 3 hours, but if I can get all this stuff done, not including packaging or shipping, then it just kind of helps. So that way, if I have to leave, do something else, help them, whatever it is, I can do that. And so I guess we talked about packaging a little bit. I usually do that I know that's not listing, but I do that the night before, after 9 p.m. because 9 p.m. is my cutoff. I'm on the West Coast, so by 9 p.m. I know what needs to be shipped the next day on eBay and Amazon and everything. So I'll have all of that done between 9 and 10, or sometimes 9 and 11 if it's a Sunday or something like that. So it's just something that helps with workflow. Every now and then during the day I do packaging, but that's usually if it's like a higher priced item, someone's buying multiples or something. Maybe it's a slower day, so I'm not doing many listings. And usually the way I do my within the day packaging is if I'm done with my listings, done with my pictures, and I'm editing or doing something else on eBay. So I'm not really taking myself out of the flow. I'm still in eBay, but that's kind of how that works. So, okay, so I know that was kind of all over the place, but what is your listing strategy? I'd love to know. How many items do you set a goal for? Is it a listing daily, weekly, monthly? I kind of prefer the two strategies, if that makes sense. A daily listing kind of range 10 to 15. If I hit 75 items for the week, that's kind of my minimum. Like I said, I've been doing closer to 100. That's kind of comfortable. I need to step that up a little bit, but leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. So, okay, let's break down what I have sold from this haul so far, the mega clothing haul, as I called it, from the Bay Area. It's about a little bit over 3 weeks ago. So I've broken it down by, these are all clothing items. I've broken it down by different brands. So the top brand, and this is maybe because I listed all of it, is Patagonia. I listed all 65 pieces or 67 pieces, whatever it was. I've sold 15 so far. Total gross from that haul for Patagonia type stuff is $390.95. Now that's gross. It doesn't include shipping. I do free shipping and all stuff that's under £1. And it obviously, I didn't include, that number doesn't include tax. But it does, number that needs to be taken out of that also would be eBay fees. So $390.95 gross. I did sell one Patagonia item that wasn't listed from part of this haul that I had from previous inventory for $18. What I've noticed is if you list, obviously if you list stuff, other stuff sells. But I think also if you list within a genre, within a brand, if you have something previously listing, what I like to do is tweak that a little bit, adjust the pictures, the title, whatever. And that will kind of, if people are looking in your store for Patagonia shirts, maybe they'll look at an older one too. So I don't know. Maybe it will help. Okay, so $390.95 from that. Price range for all those items was $17 to $39.99. And then the next thing, next most sold item was North Face. 3 items. Now, here's the weird thing. I've listed North Face items from this haul, but 0 from this haul sold. These are older items, so 6 months, a year old. So I'm not going to include that in this. And then I had Izod. Sorry about that. It's a cardigan. One cardigan that sold for $15 and one tank top that was sold for $20. And lastly, there was one, it's kind of this glossy leather jacket thing that sold. So I'm looking at about $450 so far from this. It should be more like $475. My initial outlay for this entire haul was $200 cash on the dot. So let's just say, I've done about $475 gross, about $400, maybe $375 net so far. So I'm doing pretty well. I'm hoping to hit about 2,000 gross from this haul. And I think I'm well on my way to doing that. Only thing that kind of sucks about this haul is that it's October and a lot of the stuff is summer clothing, which is kind of bad timing. But at the same time, I have a bad history of kind of storing stuff and waiting, trying to guess when it would sell better. Obviously, you want to sell your warmer clothing at this time. Save your warm weather clothing for spring or summer if you can. But I hoard things too much. I end up having a messy inventory. I end up not, listing stuff. So my whole thing is I want to either list everything that I have so far, or donate it by Christmas. So get rid of it or list it. And then, kind of take it from there and kind of streamline my inventory. So that's my update for the haul so far, and my how I do my listings. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. I really need to step up my listings, but how are you guys doing? First, second week of Q4 already. And what are you guys doing? How are you listing? What's your listing strategy? I'd love to hear about it. If you want to leave us a message, if you want to join our Facebook group, Reseller Niche Podcast Help on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under reseller_niche. And on Twitter, I believe it's Reseller Niche as well. So thank you for listening. And this has been our update for the Mega Haul from a couple weeks ago. So until the next one, have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Reseller Niche Podcast. Show notes and social media links are located at resellerniche.com. Please comment, rate, and subscribe to us on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.